Peace and assalamu alaikum, everybody. Oh, this arm is still sore. Peace. This video is going to touch on some additional information I've been getting on the endometrial ablation. In my last video, I talked about it. About me getting one, me having in the works or in the plans getting one due to some pretty lofty sorry, my homeboy keep hitting me up. Yeah, some due to some really like hefty health situations I'm going through. I have been talking to some doctors, and it seems that, you know, an ablation would be the best thing for me. Really, like the only thing for me. But, you know, I've been, even the other day, and you can look back at the video if you want to see all I was talking about. I'm not going to go back into that. But the other day, before I made the video, I had been looking at, you know, YouTube videos of women who have gone through it and everything. And aside from, you know, them speaking about painful cramps and things post-op for like up to 6 months or so, they still were like, but you know, it was great. I'm glad I did it. I would do it all over again. But I started looking into it some more, and then I joined a Facebook group. There's an endometrial ablation Facebook support group, or support group on Facebook. And it's funny because when I spoke with the case manager, who was the nurse who called to, you know, just sort of get an update on my status and everything from me after I was discharged from the hospital last Sunday, you know, I told her I was going to go on YouTube and look at some reviews and things from the women. And she said, well, okay, that's good, but be careful because, you know, there's a lot of negative stuff being said out there. And it's like, alright, are you saying that as a benefit to me or the medical industry? Because again, I'm a nurse, but I am not like all gung-ho with modern medicine and like procedures and things that they do. Now, I'm not, you know, all like 100% against it either, obviously. I do think that modern medicine has its place. But I'm trying to, I should have put my phone on airplane mode because I'm getting calls in. So anyway, so the case manager pretty much, she's kind of seemed like she wanted to tell me like, don't listen to them. But, you know, she's not going to say that. She did warn me, though, that, you know, there will be some negativity out there. But negativity, you know, from whose perspective? If a person is putting their truth out there and telling what, you know, happened for them personally, then, I mean, there it is. It's a negative so far as what they've gone through, but it doesn't mean that it's a negative towards the procedure itself. In my opinion, it's just what is. And if it's showing that getting the procedure is not good, then, you know, that's what it is. But I'm intelligent enough to take all the information and balance it out, you know what I mean? So anyway, I really was finding a lot of, initially what I found were, I don't want to say a lot because there are not really a lot of reviews, in my opinion, on there. But from what I found, you know, it didn't seem really badly until I went to this Facebook group. And, you know, they warn you in the introduction or in the description of the group that everybody there has had a negative experience with it. So I went in knowing that too. So I, you know, was trying not to be biased either way. But when I tell you, so many women have gotten this ablation done and they are not happy with it at all. And also what I found is that many women end up getting a hysterectomy anyway. So some of the things that I see women are, you know, putting out there is that, one, they have horrible pain. Like, even if they had gotten their procedure done like a couple of years or so ago, they've been having horrible pain that nothing stops, like every month, you know, as if it's still their cycle, their moon cycle period. And so that's scary. Like, even if they didn't used to have cramps before, that's really scary. I don't want that. I've read people talk about getting a discharge, which I did hear someone on a YouTube video said that she was in like her 6-month post-op or something like that, and she talked about having a discharge sometimes, which was nasty, she said. And you know, she said that was from, like, I guess, additional sloughing off from the burning of the endometrium. And so, like, I knew about that, but then listen to these other women, it's like, really, maybe it could even be an infection that they have, from what they say about it, you know, like how it's like super smelly. Somebody said it smells like something died up in her. I don't want that. No, not at all. A lot of women say that they still get a cycle, which I did know that the GYN that I spoke to recently, he did tell me that, you know, I may still get it. It's not, from what he told me, the procedure is not to stop your cycle per se, but it is to decrease it. And then a lot of women, it stops, like, altogether, where some women still get a small amount of blood during their period. And he also told me, no, that was it. Excuse me, I think that was it. So yeah, so I'm finding those things out. A lot of women, they say like it failed. I don't know what they mean by failed, that it failed. I don't know if it actually failed or if it didn't do what they expected it to do. But also, again, they still have, you know, the pain and things like that. And they end up getting a hysterectomy anyway. So it really has me on edge about this whole thing, and wondering if I want to try it. Like, you know, all women, of course, don't go through those things. It just seems like a really high percentage. And you know, what are the chances that I'm going to go through the same thing? What are the chances that I'll be good with it? I do find that a lot of in the support group, they don't seem to be as old as I am either. I just turned 48. So, oh, the other thing that the gyno told me is that it pretty much like heals itself or undoes itself or whatever in a couple of years. He did tell me that, but he said that hopefully, since I'm 48, that by the time it, you know, wears off, so to say, that I will have already started going through menopause, so I'll be good. So he did tell me that. He didn't try to imply that it was like, you know, you'll be good forever. So I'm not sure what these other women, if they hadn't been told that, or if they didn't understand that, or whatever the case is. But I really don't know. Well, what I'm planning to do, I have to see my hematologist next week before I go and see the gynecologist who would be performing the procedure. So I'm hoping to speak to the hematologist first to see exactly what are the risks going to be. Because the specialist who deals with that, she told me, as I said in, I guess, my last video, she told me that with my my chronic disorders, that it could be deadly for me to get a hysterectomy, like during the surgery, which is why I do not qualify for it. She said that I think my hematologist also like co-signed that, I believe. But she did say that I could get the ablation. But then I spoke to another couple of doctors who were not gynecologists, and they were like, actually, I think the gynecologist I spoke to last week at the ER, I believe he also said like, oh, like we do it, like you being on blood thinners is not a thing. And then another doctor also, who was not a gyno, he also told me that he's known that they do those at the hospital, and that is essentially not a big deal with stopping the blood thinners. But it's not only the blood thinners, it's also the factor V that I'm dealing with, the clotting disorder. So I'm thinking, inshallah, I'm going to speak with the hematologist next week and get more information from her, and try to have a list of specific questions to ask her. She seems cool, but I don't know, there's just something. Working with doctors, I find, and as I'm sure many of you do, a lot of them have this sort of aloofness about them, and especially well, not especially, but sometimes ones who are not American, I would say. And that is not throwing any shade at somebody being immigrants or anything, but you know, we all have our cultures, we all have our ways. And I grew up around people from different Caribbean people. Of course, my family is Bahamian. I grew up around also some Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Cuban, Dominicans. I've had dealings with Haitians, Trinidadians, as well as East Asians, and you know, so I'm well aware of how culturally or behaviorally different ethnicities can be. And I'm not going to say what this doctor is, but you know, I mean, it could be from her cultural background or ethnic background, or it could just be her, who knows, or maybe I'm just reading something that's not there. But nonetheless, I'm going to talk to her and try and hope that I can actually get the answers, whatever the answers are, but get the answers from her. And then the following week, when I go to see the gynecologist who is supposed to actually perform the ablation, I'll be armed with the more information and, you know, again, more specific questions that hopefully can help me. Because at this point, I don't know, I'm just so confused. One part of me, I want to do the ablation because, one, it's like a 15-minute procedure. Normally, you know, I would probably want to stay in the hospital overnight, although they say that they usually send the woman home, but I don't know. I think it'll be a lot, because in my home, you know, on the first floor, I have the living room, the like library, the dining room, and the kitchen. But then I have to go up like 16 or 17 stairs to get to my bedroom or to get to the bathroom and stuff. And one of the things I heard a YouTuber say is that when you come home, you're not allowed to go up the stairs. So I'm sure I'm going to be in pain right after surgery with all that stuff that's going to be going on in there, them burning my endometrium. And so I don't know, I probably will want to like stay in a hospital, I'm thinking, just for observation and for some good meds. I don't normally do like Tylenol and stuff like that unless, like last year when I had the clot, the PEs, I, you know, took Tylenol sometime because I had to. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, I'm gonna make my dua, my prayer, and try to arm myself with information and hopefully make the right decision, because you know the ablation is quick, it's not as invasive. I truly don't want to get a hysterectomy for myriad of reasons, but by the same token, if it turns out that I'm just gonna have to, you know, go through all this pain and such just to end up having to get a hysterectomy anyway, I don't know, it might just be better to get it. But then now they have me scared that I'm gonna die. Like, I've never had surgery before, and so getting the hysterectomy would just be, it would be so hard for me emotionally and such, and of course physically. But then on top of that, I'm sure I would be so anxious just worrying about dying during this thing. I would be worried about that anyway, because I'm just extra when it comes to surgeries. The only surgeries I don't even know if you can consider them surgeries, but I've dealt with my tooth. One time I almost died actually from an impact with wisdom tooth, and it was horrid. My face was so distorted and everything, and I still had the scar actually. I was scared to death. And then another time I had to get a tooth pulled, honey. I was a hot mess. She would have thought I was going for a hysterectomy because I did not want to go. I don't like all that stuff. I don't like being cut. I don't like putting myself in the hands of other people who, I mean, I don't know them. They're not people that I, you know, trust. They may be, you know, dentists or doctors or whatever, and we tell ourselves that we can trust them. But I don't know these people. Shoot. And I just don't know. So I'm gonna have to do my research, and it may turn out that I'll be doing a post-op video for a hysterectomy in lieu of an ablation. But we will see. We will see. Make dua for me, inshallah, that I make the right decision. Peace.